Okay, everybody. Just checking a few things and cool. So welcome to Crypto Mastery class. Haven't done one in a couple of weeks here, and let's see how are we doing on a bunch of people here. So that's good. Good to see you guys. And I'll just say hi to a few people. David Lee, David Nardini, how's it going? KS, Leslie, M, Paul, Perry, Pump, Sam, Stan, Terry, Todd, V, and Wally, and Dr. T. Hey, Dr. T. All right, so let's dive right into it. And we are going to go through some news today. I'm going to keep class to an hour, kind of keep things going. I know it's a lot to invest and time-wise, and lots happening in the markets here. So just revisiting our overall Bitcoin chart here and the market cycles. So we've been projecting these market cycles pretty well, I might say. And that market cycle, the fifth down here, we forecasted that in our market cycle secrets class and nailed it. That was also the election. We had projected a November 18th high. These things can be a day or two forward or behind. And so a little bit behind there, dropped back down a bit here, whether that's a low. We had forecasted over here on the December 5th. So these things aren't exact. But bottom line is we're pushing up nicely. And, I think we're probably on the way toward 120K, give or take, and some kind of a pullback to retest. Either we kind of already sort of held that 100K line, and that was a bit of a battle. I've been saying for months that would be a big battle. And certainly from here, a push higher and some pullback would be expected. Even in bull runs, we have to remember 20-30% pullbacks do happen. But I think, we're probably headed toward certainly 120K, probably 150K. And we'll go from there. These are the harder times to project these things. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing my screen here and make sure it is. Okay. Good. All right. With that, certainly if you have any questions, you can ask those. I'll get to those toward the end. And some good news, you guys. We have a new version of the Trader Success Checklist. So we will give you guys the download if you're a Crypto Mastery member or an M3 member. You'll be getting this by email and in the private chat. So it's just a newly revised version. And if you're new here, this is a way that we've made it push button easy to have much greater chance of success with your trades. Because if you are able to identify the different patterns here, which I'll show you in a minute, I have to download the version that's interactive here. So let me open that up. And when you see these and you check them off, you'll get a score down below. And the more of these setups that you see, the score will advance. Okay, so in terms of taking a trade, if you have a 2 or a 3, generally I'm in the trade, especially if it's some of our custom signals, the ERI and the TSI. So if you are new here, though, and aren't familiar with those, you can learn more about that at moonstream.io. And over to this tab here for Crypto Mastery, we will be sharing and showing primarily here our Crypto Mastery Pro signals. That is the main purpose of these classes, to give you guys some training on how to use those, and also to give you an idea of what they do. So certainly you can go over to cryptomastery.org/pro if you want to go directly to it. I'll put that in the chat. If you don't have these guys, you're at a disadvantage. I've been trading for 25 years, and so if you're using the standard RSI, stochastics, MACD, which everyone else is using, you really don't have an edge. These tools and signals will give you an edge, and they're really easy to use and learn how to implement in your trading, especially with the trade success checklist. So we'll be looking for some setups here today on the bullish trades and ERIs, TSIs, and our 4 horsemen, as we call it. When these 4 align, then you have a very high chance of having a successful trade. Also, we'll tell you how to and when to exit your trades based on certain things like our modified Bollinger Band. Most Bollinger Bands are wrong. I won't say they're wrong, they just don't work on crypto out of the box without a modification, which we've made, and we'll talk about here today. So with that, we'll dive into that here momentarily. Not a whole lot going on in Bitcoin. We did see this breakout of this sort of downward sloping channel, and of course, we had been watching for a bull flag breakout, which finally we had all the way down here and had a massive rally, right? So the target on that rally has not been hit yet. Just to revisit this, And I'll talk about these rocket signals here in a minute as well. So I'll turn that off for the moment. But in terms of the measured move on the bull flag, so if we were to go back here and the bull flag breakout, so the conservatively puts us to about 150K. Okay. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, I have studies, multiple studies on why that number is a likely target for the bull run and even 200K. Some people draw a bull flag breakout from the top of the channel. I've seen it done both ways. This puts us right at 200K. And if you aren't familiar, you can go to Google and Google Brett Fogle at TradingView and see my other study, The Path to 150 to 200K Bitcoin, based on another study that also puts us at 150K to 200K Bitcoin. So I think that's likely. However, we might see some pullbacks here in Q2, and anything's possible. So recession's still very much on the radar. We have got economic data coming out tomorrow, an FOMC, which is now priced in more than 90% chance of a quarter basis point rate cut. The implications of which are what are a bit concerning. And so recession does still seem to be kind of on the horizon. So we have to be a little bit careful. And, in our M3 Active Trader class, we've been talking about the possibility of a, Q2 pullback, deep pullback into the summer, and then a second bull run end of the year, November, December, Q4 of next year. So we'll be heavily relying on our signals. And of course, the number one signal that we have, our early reversal indicator, which did call the top of the last bull market here. This red arrow, our early reversal indicator, did nail it with this also pattern bearish engulfing candle. And when it has confluence with our trend strength indicator going red, when these line up, you guys, it's highly, highly probable it's correct. So we have that and the TSI, our signal line. These are all different algorithms. All right. So these aligned, and then our new RSI Pro. So I will be watching very carefully for that scenario as the top of the market, also looking at things like the pi cycle top. But this confluence here, highly probable, so much so that we saw a mini version of it back here. And you guys remember I said, guys, we shouldn't be having bear signals here, but we are. We got out of this. Those who listen, we got out here and avoided this 20% drop because our signals aligned. So if you've heard enough and you want those signals, and you don't have them, go over to cryptomastery.org/pro and watch that video and sign up for these. We have an annual and we have a lifetime version that is going up in January. It's going up $500. Okay, so go check that out and trust me. All right, because right now is not the time to be, not having all the tools at your disposal, and this is why it's so important. $500 is a drop in the bucket. $1,500 is nothing in the term lifetime of your trading. All right, little commercial out of the way there. So let's see. Let's go into some news here, and I'll get back to the charts here, Perry, in a minute. I want to get through the news. So the news: no to CBDCs, yes to Bitcoin. European MP, whatever MP stands for. I know usually it's European Union, but calls for EU BTC reserve. So bottom line is, and maybe we'll pull up our study on FOMO, corporate FOMO, country FOMO. All of these things are starting to align. And certainly it would not be surprising to see other countries. In fact, we've heard Brazil is front running the U.S. Strategic Reserve. And so if the new administration does come in and on day one allocate even 100,000 Bitcoin, some are saying 200,000 Bitcoin, ultimately 1 million Bitcoin, and as a reserve, we'll have to see how that plays out. But certainly if you're another country and have seen the success that El Salvador has had, you might want to front run that, obviously. So the European MP calling for an EU BTC reserve. Okay, so guys, you have to take into account the macro side of things. It's the Russian dolls analogy. So the outer shell is that global economy. We have liquidity cycle on the upswing, although it's turned down a little bit, and we'll talk about that more in our M3 Active Trader class tomorrow. But liquidity It drives everything. And certainly, if these other countries are front running and trying to get into the Trump pump too, as the I just coined because of the central the reserve. If we do that, prices are going to go much higher. Okay, so this is good. No to CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Yes to Bitcoin. Okay, this is good. European Parliament said it's time to stop totalitarian temptations. It's some good copy there by the European Central Bank and adopt Bitcoin. So that's very interesting. And of course, we have other whales, sovereign nations, Russia, China, big holders of Bitcoin. We're seeing supply dwindling on the exchanges, demand going up. Why we haven't skyrocketed more is a mystery to me. But these things are still in the works. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance also and altcoins and what that looks like. So I won't go through all of this, but this is good. The European Union suggesting the Bitcoin reserve while rejecting the proposed adoption of the digital euro, which is great. Nobody wants it. And a CBDC that was under development by the European Central Bank. Whether they push that through or not, they still might. But so the people saying say no are not necessarily in that position of power. Okay, so we have to see how this plays out. The lawmaker, so it's just a lawmaker, said, so it's proposing that it's time to stop totalitarian temptations by the European Central Bank. We don't want the CBDC, which essentially would track all of our transactions. We're seeing that in China. If you're a bad citizen, they can turn off your money so you can't buy the coffee or that's kind of that's a scary thing that's starting to happen in some parts of the world. And certainly freedom loving countries and democracies don't want that. So, talking about her speech compared, as I said, crypto regulation developments worldwide, citing, as I said, El Salvador's Bitcoin adoption in 2021. Guys, I was there in the room at the Bitcoin conference when they announced that, and it was you could feel the electricity in the room of what that meant. And we thought there would be a whole avalanche of other countries following suit, but it didn't pan out that way. And for a while there, it looked like hey, maybe that was a mistake in the bear market. But El Salvador certainly vindicated with that decision and has done very, very well with that. Last I heard, they had erased their country debt, all of their debt, their sovereign debt with that. So pay attention, everybody. This is about to get interesting. The crypto-friendly agenda of the United States President-elect Donald Trump incoming administration, certainly on everybody's radar. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? Can they do it? They'll find a way, I believe, with control of the Senate and the House and some of those things. I'm not, that up on all the politics there, but it certainly seems like that's on the way. She also mentioned U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell referred to Bitcoin as digital gold. So, what if you can't beat him, join him? What if Powell says the right things and then we keep him around for a while? I mean, he's been a good puppet master so far, just answering maybe to the wrong, or I won't say wrong. I think they've done a fair job in controlling inflation. It remains to be seen, but where do we go from here? We'll see. All right, so Europe has taken a different approach to crypto regulation. Regulators primarily focus on regulation, taxation, stifling innovation. That similar to the US. So we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here. Pro Bitcoin speech, European MP Sarah, not sure who she is, but the message is clear. We do not want this dystopian world where a European bureaucrat will be able tomorrow to ban certain transactions, as I was saying, and even eliminate us from the banking system with a click for a simple comment made on social networks for an opinion that displeases. Guys, I had trouble sending a Zelle in my bank. And it was very frustrating. And it was just, the bank shouldn't have control over your money. And it turned out to be a simple glitch and a typo. But after multiple phone calls saying, you guys need to fix this to pay a vendor that we were trying to hire, and it just wouldn't go through. And, not to mention all the fees, but that's really where things are headed. And so we want control over our own money, obviously. All right, so this is going to kick it down the road. I don't want to read all of this. ECB plans to decide on a digital euro sometime in 2025. And let's see, fortunately, not much is going to happen in the markets today because of the Fed meeting tomorrow. We've got unemployment and jobs reports later in the week. So I think it's a good day to get through some news and get caught up on things. Related, as I said, El Salvador plans Bitcoin policy changes to secure. Okay, I didn't say that. 1.3, that's interesting. So it sounds like El Salvador is looking to follow a Michael Saylor strategy and borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin. We can only assume, but what the read there is that we are getting closer to where those dominoes fall on my study of the 10. It started as the 7 factors to get us to 150K Bitcoin. It's now 11 factors, and potentially I don't want to keep adding to the list. I want to like add to the each individual item, but country FOMO is certainly on the list. But to have countries starting to borrow against fiat to buy more, certainly interesting, you guys. And as I've said for a while now, definitely look up that study. I will pull it up shortly. How each one of these factors is like a small smoldering campfire that if any or all of them start to flame out, it will go up like a big California forest fire. And so, and the analogy there, difficult, if not impossible, to put out. So we'll get to that. All right, crypto 4 years to grow so big. So crypto has 4 years to grow so big, no one can shut it down. We're already there, though. I mean, this is with they can't shut down Bitcoin. Certainly with Starlink and all of the satellites, that's not happening. The network is too big, and that is the value. Really, the value of Bitcoin and Ethereum is the network, the size of the network. And as Michael Saylor has pointed out, the size of the exahash of that cumulative network is bigger than anything out there in Amazon and Microsoft combined. So keep that in mind. That if the network is so large that you can never say never. Maybe quantum computers of 100 years from now, but we'll get to some of that FUD also that recently came out and was dismissed. But let's talk about El Salvador extending crypto agreements beyond Argentina. Let's see, what is the deal here? Let's see, partners with Argentina to strengthen the digital assets industry. We don't really care about that. We want to talk about more money is coming in. So let's skip down to the headline. I thought was borrowing a lot of money, and maybe I clicked on the wrong headline. Let's see if we can find it. Because if they borrowed $1 billion, then to buy more Bitcoin, that would be certainly more significant in the short term. But let's see, they're in discussions with 25 countries, anticipate many more agreements in the future. Certainly, that's a value. If the South American countries are starting to band together, maybe let me just pause for a second because BRICS is Brazil. And that's the problem. If there was a South American version of BRICS, maybe the rest of them, that would be significant if they denominated it in Bitcoin. But BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, I believe, and many more countries that are added to it. So we're just kind of dancing around, painting or putting a frame around where the current things are in the marketplace. But let's see, this is more about regulation. Somehow I missed the article I wanted to about them borrowing 1.34 billion. And so anyway, since it's not happened yet, we'll kind of put that out of the equation for now. All right, let's talk about this. The quantum computer scare. So this was part of the scare that tanked Bitcoin and crypto a week or so ago, and the quantum scare. And then there was also what was the other? I forget. Crypto moves so fast. I've forgotten the other factor that kind of dumped things and was scary to the markets. But these are these 20% dumps that will happen. I had actually sold a lot of my crypto the night before and posted that in our M3 active trader class. So if any of you are an active trader and will like these kind of classes a little bit more in depth, you can learn more about this on our website at moonstream.io and then just go /M3. That is where we do coin picks, daily chat, And many of you here are in the M3 Active Trader, where I am giving coin picks and a private signal chat, and we do a deeper dive into this and a Wednesday class like this, where I'll go into things like total market cap and other factors involved in studies that you can benefit from. So go check this out if you'd like, and to learn more about that. It's a great community that we have. There were some excellent traders, by the way, who are also commenting on these markets. Tons of testimonials. We haven't even updated these for since 2021 because there are so many. And just to show you that inside of that chat here, you get access to me 24/7. And you can see we've got a lot of different news articles and things from the other members. Some very smart traders in here. I'm trying to hide the other chat on the side and not doing a very good job of it. But here you can see lots of charts every morning. Even coin picks. So the value there is you get coin picks, you get chat, you can always get access to me, and we have that Wednesday class. So quite a bit in here, but it's not like a Discord where you've got 1,000 or hundreds of messages that are meaningless. It's a small community, 50 to 100 people, no more, and very smart traders, and they're also contributing. So go check that out if this is of interest to you and you really want to stay on top of things, because we talked about this in detail. And actually, I was saying and telling people I sold some of my crypto the day before that dump, albeit it was late in the evening. All right, so Google's Willow quantum chip, the TLDR here is that the scare is that these quantum computers will be able to break the Bitcoin hash. I was at an AI mastermind in Tulum back in May, and I asked a very smart technologist when that would happen. He said it was already happening, but I don't think he's right. And these Willow chips, as I read, they're not there yet. So the unveiling of the 105 qubit chip, it's a huge milestone, but it was going to take a much, much bigger size to be able to crack a Bitcoin hash. And so 105 qubits, while it is amazing and it can do things, I think it's in seconds, it's able to do something a normal computer would take like a trillion years, something like that. It's certainly an amazing achievement based on entanglement of not protons, anyway, the what you guys might know, the entanglement, maybe it says this in here, of the it's on the tip of my tongue, you guys, tongue. It's a somebody might know the answer to this. It's anyway, point is, it needs a lot more than that. And what is that word here? It's not a proton. It is the quantum. It's working with where they have two entanglement of the two. It's some kind of a small element, smaller than a proton, something like that. Anyway, guys, it's Tuesday. I've been out of town for 10 days. Got to get my brain warmed up. Qubits instantaneously here. Qubits can exist in a state of superposition. That's what I was getting toward, 1 and 0. When the qubits are entangled, they basically influence each other instantaneously. You know what I did see on Joe Rogan recently? Look it up. They've actually photographed an entangled qubit, and the image of it looks exactly like the yin yang, exactly like the yin yang symbol. Guys, further proof maybe we do live in a simulation. So anyway, the point of this is that we're not there yet. We're not going to break the hash. It was just some FUD. The point of all of that is when prices do get up into the regions where it tends to just stagnate, and I'll look at Ethereum because we're there right now. I sold my Ethereum yesterday. Because when the prices kind of push up and stagnate, it's kind of like a Chinese weather balloon. You know, if it floats around there long enough, then it's likely to get shot out of the sky. Maybe that's not the best analogy, but here's another version of it. ETH here really having trouble lingering up in the sky. Can't break this $4,000 level. So to me, this is ripe for any kind of a news-driven event to pull it back down again. So I sold most of my ETH last night for some kind of a pullback, and I rotated it into Bitcoin. I sold a bunch of my alts last night because right now Bitcoin is the play. So I still am holding. I'm right now about 60-40 alts to Bitcoin, but I have rotating it back in for a whole Bitcoin here for the pump to 120K. We will talk more detail about Bitcoin dominance tomorrow in the M3 class. And when we start seeing a pullback on Bitcoin dominance, that's when the alts are really going to fly. Okay, so back to the news, then we'll come back to the charts. So let's see. I don't want to get too far into this. You can research this on your own, but the let's see, qubits need. Yeah, so here's what it was. To break a Bitcoin hash, we're at 105 now, breaking Bitcoin's cryptographic defenses far beyond the capabilities of today's quantum computers, including Willow. TLDR, mic drop, nothing to worry about. Unless Dr. Evil, deep in his lair, has over in China or North Korea or something, has somehow 10x'd to 20x'd the output of Google. Not likely. Not likely, you guys. So that would be the tolerant logical qubits would be required to run Shor's algorithm effectively. All right. So let's see. Okay, let's keep going. Last article here. 104 whale wallets now hold 50%, 57% of all Ether in bullish sign. Ether probably going to have its run here at some point, but I just haven't seen it broke out. I'm waiting for ETH to get back above this 4,000 level, and even then, you guys, we have sell blocks. This is one of our signals with the Crypto Mastery Pro. We can see visually where the sellers are. They're lined up right at this 4,800 level, front running the all important psychological $5,000 level. So that's where I would be taking profits actually on a weekly basis, right around 4,500 in this whole zone here, where the prior market cycle high of around 4,700, 4,800, same, right? That's the prior cycle high. We're going to see sell pressure there, at least initially, and more likely push up to 4,500, come back to retest 4,000 as support, and then push higher. So this is my read on ETH. When we're in price discovery above 5,000, then I'd say we're going to want to start loading up heavily on ETH. And likely that's when Bitcoin money starts flowing out of Bitcoin into ETH, into the alts, as we see every cycle, into Link and other ones, and Solana, of course. So that's the roadmap right there, you guys. Right now, though, look at all this open air. We see an indecision weekly candle on Ethereum. And when I say open air, do you see all this sort of open air between price and the 21-week exponential moving average? Think of it as a giant rubber band. When it's pulled far enough away, all you can do is let go and let it revert to the mean. And it's always been this way, stocks for 25 years. So what I'm suggesting here is likely we pull back on ETH, probably to around 3,600. It's going to take some time, letting the 21-week EMA catch up to this and maybe even dip down a bit. I am bullish on ETH, the monthly chart. We did get did we had, okay, we were forming a bullish ERI, but it didn't quite get there. So that's interesting to note. So ETH kind of weak looking to me. I think it'll sort of churn up, push up to 4,500 maybe. But the question is, do we do that and pull back and retest now on the weekly, or on the daily, do we pull back here in the short term? But because it's having trouble here, I would rather buy on a retest. These on a breakout and a retest is where I'd want to buy this on Ethereum. So mostly I'm out. Again, the analogy being it's lingering up here. Any news item probably pull it back down a bit, but still in an uptrend, and you have the 21 week coming up below it. So there you go. I do think there's some better opportunities. I think Bitcoin is the play right now for the next few days and this week. All right. So this is sort of interesting, but not immediately relevant here. So basically, analysts predict Ether to rise as wallet address hit 8-month high. The on-chain metrics, it's interesting, but it's lagging. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, and we can see what's happening with our signals. Okay, so, and we'll check that out when we jump over to the charts. So why don't we go ahead and do that, hop over to the charts here. I will get to, yeah, Perry, there you go. Thanks, I'll pull that out. Photons, thank you. So Perry, I knew it was close. So this is the Joe Rogan thing, and I don't normally pull this up, but this is the picture. Here, is this a picture of the yin yang of a photon, right? So an entangled photon. So go check that out. The link, Perry shared that. It's amazing. I'm gonna watch this later, you guys. But you can see it right down in here. This a picture of a photon, just like just like yin yang. Amazing. All right. All right, so I'm going to put this away. I'm going to watch that later. I suggest you guys do as well. Possible crypto. Going to get to some questions here, and let's take a look at the total market cap so that we have kind of a broad strokes. I did a study, by the way, on TradingView. If you want to look that up, just do Brett Fogle TradingView, and you can find some of my studies here. I update these from time to time, and showing interesting study on USDT. This isn't really played out on the total market cap and the USDT dominance, but it's not over yet. We still could see that push higher. The total market cap, however, if I jump to this. And so we total market cap pushing higher. What do we see here, you guys? Nice new upward trending channel. Nice and tight. Like it. Love it. And my projections on a bull flag breakout from there is 4.8 trillion. So, you know, if we continue just up and to the right, puts us potentially Feb 2025. And, but I think there's trouble ahead. Will it be this orderly? Probably not. But look at this nice 21-day exponential moving average, kind of just slowly inching its way higher and right at that midline. So, beats a sharp stick in the eye. It looks good. All right. So possible crypto reactions to any Fed meeting decision. So, well, if they cut rates, they are going to cut rates here, and we can see that. There's no chance they don't. If we go to the FedWatch tool, and I'd said months ago when we were still at 60%, watch them raise this up as we get closer into the end of the year. Sure enough, we're at 95%. That's 100%. I don't know that there's ever been a big upset with that. So it's going to get priced in. It's already priced in. Now, is it possible they do a half point rate cut? They've given it 0% chance of that. There's a 4.6 chance they do nothing. So it's going to be the comments related to that in the future, forward-looking comments that Powell says in terms of the economy. Does he see more rate cuts? Does he not see more rate cuts? The problem is once we get into a second or third rate cut, that's when everyone's like, all right, maybe the economy is not okay, right? And they start future pricing in pullbacks. The stock market is very much in bubble territory. Now they can continue doing that by printing money, but this is above my pay grade. I'm going to wait and watch. However, as the stocks kind of start to peel off, money will likely flow into Bitcoin. And that's why I've been suggesting we get a blow off top early, January, February, potentially, and then we get some meaningful, nice, good size correction, if not a bear market. As they battle recession and inflation. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but I want to put it out there. Consensus is dangerous, and if everyone is saying, okay, the 4-year cycle, it's going to go up all the way, I don't think so. And I've been saying that for over a year now. My spidey sense says there's going to be a hiccup, there's going to be a boomerang, and we're going to know it first because we're going to have our signals here. We're going to have our bear market signals, and we're going to be getting out, waiting for a bear market potentially, and getting back in when our signals show us. Now, I think that we hold the old total market cap, this big buy block. This is part of the ERI Pro. This is institutional money flow. I don't think we lose that price. I think we hold there. If we were to come back down, and that equates to about 100,000 Bitcoin, I think no matter how high we go, I think that will be the floor. And then I think Q3, Q4 2025, we see a rip-roaring rally to 200K Bitcoin or higher, maybe 250, but my models show 200 is that top. And we'll see. Like with anything, we'll go as far as we can see, and then from there, we'll be able to see farther. But certainly, make no mistake, our signals have been guiding us all the way, and this is the backbone. So if you're here and you're not familiar with our crypto mastery signals, go get them. Thank me later. Virtually everyone in M3 and my private clients have these because they are so good and they work on all time frames. Let's take a look at the 1 hour, 4 hour on Bitcoin to see if we can see anything. So we have a nice buy block here on money flow at the 105K region. So what that tells me, very likely we don't lose that. And it also coincides with this midpoint of the vector candle here. So these buy blocks are sort of big money flow, and we have yet to see these kind of get taken out on larger time frames. So it's support on the ERI, our early reversal indicator. That is not really showing us anything. Our dynamic average true range shows we're in a buy zone. So we went entry point back here right at 100,000. So we had a high degree of certainty this would go up higher. On our Bollinger Bands, our modified Bollinger Bands, you can see when price gets above them, price pulls back. If you're a swing trader, day trader, I'll turn off the ATR here and just show you this is a great way to know when to take profits and when it pushes above the upper Bollinger Band. Again, ours are different than your standard off the shelf. We made a couple setting changes that make them work almost perfectly with crypto and Bitcoin. Right now, I do think we go higher. We have bullish engulfing candles here. So, why don't we do this? Let's jump over to our trade success checklist and we'll just use it on a 4-hour chart. We don't usually do that. Let me just finish the comment though. Perry, they're not going to hold rates. Look, this is 95.4%. They're going to cut rates quarter point. It's going to be the comments that dictate where people freak out or not, and probably it's a nothing burger. Housing, yeah, there's unemployment. There's things like that coming out later in the week, which I think could have more impact. Let's see if we want to look at CPI. That's probably coming out later in the week too. We'll look at that tomorrow in M3 class. Perry, let's do that. But thanks for that, Photons. Yeah, the yin and yang here. Let's see. I did want to get to one question. Perry asked, does the bull flag projected measurement change if the y-axis is on a linear scale of, all right, okay, guys, take a sip of coffee here. It's going to make me use my brain. Yes. Hmm. Good question. So let's go to the bull flag on the macro, the total market cap, because as we know, it's not about Bitcoin price. It is about the total market cap because back here, the market cycle top was exactly, not close, but it was exactly at $3 trillion. Okay. And if I go up to the wick here, I'm on a weekly time frame, but right here, $3 trillion on the nose. Okay. That's programmatic, pre-programmed. That's when they started selling it. So that out of the way, we watch total market cap. We are above that now. My projections on the bull flag. Yes, on longer time frames, you want to be in logarithmic mode. So I am in logarithmic. Your question of does it change over longer time frames? It tends to. On shorter time frames, not so much. Let's take a look. All right, so the measured move. The bull flag here, I'll draw it as a parallel channel just to make it a little bit more clear. But as you know, we were following this for months, right? And there we go. That's best. That's the flag. So the measured move on this, the conservative measured move, again, if we do it from the bottom of the flag, I know some people, textbook is on the top, but that's why we have two targets. I've seen it do both, and we don't want to be counting on 6 trillion and then we get blindsided at 4.8 trillion. Nothing's guaranteed here. So on this projection, 4.8 trillion, give or take. Technically, this was the bottom of it, and so 4 point puts it at 5 trillion. It's let me draw this a little bit closer. And in terms of these things, it's a little bit, do we draw it to the wick or the bottom price? It's hard to do it exactly. If I really wanted to do it on like a 4-hour chart, we could do it. But let's just say 4.8 trillion is where that's where I'm guesstimating. Okay, so does it change on a non-logarithmic chart? Price-wise, not really. It brings it down a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit different angle though. Okay, so that's okay. In that sense, it would. Okay, so we do this a little bit different angle there. Yeah, it greatly reduces it. So that puts us at about 3.5 trillion. But when you really think about it, though, with Bitcoin being a large part of the total market cap and all this money flowing in, we really are looking at higher targets. And I've heard estimates as much as 9 trillion on total market cap. Now, we've talked about the hype cycle, And, when people start coming out with higher and higher projections, cut those in half, guys. We need to remember 90% of us and them and everyone are going to lose on this. We're going to hold too long. And I'm not saying we, I'm going to say they, because we have our signals. And the reason, I'm on call 24/7 is I'm watching for those weekly close and our signs that, hey, this thing's topping out. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. All right. Now, that being said, I don't think this is the case. 3.5 trillion is a bit low, and we're already above that. We're already above that. So, to answer your question, yes, you want to be on a logarithmic chart here. And that's the answer. Okay. I mean, look, nothing is definitive. Aliens could come land tomorrow. These drones that are flying around, maybe they're full of little green men, and we find out tomorrow. Oh my God. For sure, it will. If that were to happen, global markets would tank. War of the Worlds, I mean, there'd be a great buying opportunity because, aliens, if they wanted to vaporize us, that movie Mars Attacks? It's sort of a parody, but if they wanted to vaporize us, they would have done it by now. Or maybe they want to just they want more of us so they have more food to eat later. I'm just kidding, you guys. Let's not get into that. Jerome Powell saw what happened to Gary Gensler, decided that he wanted to keep his cushy job. Yeah, Sam. I mean, Jerome Powell probably, I don't know, he's probably had meetings and he seems like a good company man. And he might just be in the Oval Office right now saying, Mr. President-elect, if you say jump, I'll say how high. I don't know. Trump's going to wants to drain the swamp. I think probably, we're not going to get into politics here, you guys. I just all we really care about is number go up. Okay, pro crypto administration. RFK very pro. Cynthia Lomas, amazing. Love to see her in office someday, a VP or even a future president. I mean, she's great. But let's see what happens. Let's see. Gary Gisler, is that intentional mistypo there, Sam? I don't know what that means though. So housing scary high. We've got origins yin yang. If there's a sell block above current price like ETH right now. All right, let's jump over to ETH. Thanks for the questions, you guys. This makes it a lot more fun and engaging for me and for everybody. So the sell block above on ETH, yes, right up here. Then you typically highly doubt a push through. That's true. I highly doubt this pumps through. The best case scenario for ETH here is that it would push up into that mid block, and that could be done by margin traders, market makers. They look, if there's enough liquidity and the shorts are piling on here, then the market makers can kind of take their foot off the brakes. There's an A book and the B book. Now that would be a big push. So I'd say that's less likely on a big float coin like ETH. But if whales come in, if the market makers kind of pull the sell orders off at current levels and or create a short squeeze, I think it goes to 44.85, maybe 4,500, but I would have your sell orders in at 44.85. Maybe half there, half at 4,500, but you may not. Sometimes these things will get real close to it and then you'll miss it. So it's better to get it in 44.85, 44.90, and sell half at least. But typically I would be selling half right now. And you guys have seen this. My strategy here is, even though I did sell all of actually I sold half. Yeah. So two things can usually happen here at these resistance. Either it breaks up higher and retests. This is the case for selling half right here. Because in either way, if it comes down, okay, then you can DCA and buy back lower when our signals start to go green again. Okay, sometimes it rejects again and does this kind of thing. But stay with me. This is usually what I teach in M3. If you sell half here and it goes down, then you have some powder dry at a dollar cost average, which is the name of the game as a swing trader. Buy lower, sell, take profits, buy lower, and increase your bags. You guys know I've nearly doubled. I turned 50 sol into 90 just doing that since May. and would have doubled it if I had actually hit the buy button one time. I got busy in my IRA and forgot to hit the buy button. Anyway, point is, if you sell half here, stay with me, take profits there. You can buy back lower. You can have then more ETH for going higher. Now, if it pushes higher, you might say, well, darn it, I should have kept it. No, because invariably it'll retest. So you can buy it back around the same price, but buying into strength. I'd rather buy in a retest, resistance flipped as support. I'm going to share you guys with my other hot big tip. Many, many years this has played out. Breakouts happen. Here's a pop quiz for my M3 members. Breakouts happen on which attempts? Okay, either what or one or the other. All right, I know some of you guys know this. So I'm going to see if you who gets it. Gold star. Yeah, you're good, you guys. All right, good. Alex, David, Paul, third or fifth attempt. So we are rejecting here on this third attempt, which tells me that this scenario is more likely. We come down and retest. We come up a fourth time, reject, put in a higher low, and then go higher. Doesn't mean it's 100%, but over time, that will play out to be the more probable scenario. So I sold half my ETH. I sold all my ETH in my IRA. I'll probably put it in Sol. I don't know. I have a bad habit of selling one of those for the other at the worst possible time. So I'll keep an eye on this. But what I'll wait for is an ETH push up here to sell back, and I'll happily buy it back at 4,000 as support. Okay, it's not about being right or wrong. It's being on the right side of the trade. And you may have heard that before, but it's an old saying. So basically, that's the play here. But certainly, all of these sellers lined up at 4,500 because it's the old top. They know that'll reject. Chances of this blowing through are very low. The ETF flows are really not there yet on ETH. Okay, so good question. And so, I reserve the right to be wrong, but in I don't think I'm wrong. That's how these things play out. Probably though, it doesn't. The reason I drew it to here is because that 21-day EMA needs to catch up a bit, so I can see ETH bleed down, maybe even only a wick. But this would be ideal place to put in your buy limit orders, 3,400 and 3,600, Probably doesn't get back down here, but let's see. What are our signals telling us? So this is a perfect segue to go into our crypto mastery signals. Well, our trend strength indicator is overbought, but it hasn't turned red. This can stay overbought for a long time. That's the weekly. The daily did pull back, but is heading higher, so that's of interest. But it's inconclusive. Our other signals are also red, so I wouldn't be buying here. We had bearish divergence on our RSI Pro. Look at this, you guys. Clear as day before when we had that drop on ETH. Early reversal indicator, bearish engulfing candle, TSI red below 80, signal line red, RSI red. So there you go. And then a bit of a drop. Then we flipped to bullish divergence. Good buy signal there. This is one of our newer signals on the Crypto Mastery Pro. And so you can see those things lining up. I do want to kind of finish an example though. Let's find a better one for using the trade success checklist. Anybody have a coin you want me to look at? Go ahead and throw that out there and we'll do it. We got caught up on those questions here. How we doing on time, everybody? And coming up on the hour, I'm going to probably wrap up here soon. But again, if you want more detailed class and trade picks and trade alerts, check out moonstream.io/M3. Okay, and just go in there. You do get access to the base indicators included, but what I would suggest on M3 is to enroll on the basic one for these prices are going to go up, you guys, by the way. I put way too much into this for these annual prices. These are going up January 1st. I don't really want to be doing annual at these low prices. Okay. So, but I would suggest you do the 249 a month. Okay. And that's without the signals. And then you go get the pro signals. Trust me, it's worth it. Don't go out to dinner for 2 weeks in a row, you'll pay for this stuff, especially in Miami. But anyway, there's more here that you get. Also, I haven't talked about our crypto screener, which is a bonus, and you get video training on all of this. These indicators are the best I've ever used. They're 100% guaranteed. I don't think we've ever had a refund on these. Or the M3 class. That's how good it is. We're being called top 3% out there. The Rocket Indicator, the Crypto Screener, ERI, Trend Pro, the TSI Pro, the Order Block Detector we looked at, showed you the RSI Pro, we showed you the Bollinger Bands. That's where you take profits, by the way, when you see a sell block and or Bollinger Bands. That's an ideal place to sell. And the Signal Line Pro. In here, let me pull it up. Here's a good cheat sheet. I'm going to open up this image here because this is a great one-page cheat sheet on this, all the signals together. So hopefully you guys can see this. All right, upper Bollinger Bands. Again, our modified Bollinger Bands, we tweaked this, we added some things, and we color-coded it. And so if you're a longtime trader and you're like, yeah, Bollinger Bands, yeah, no, these are different than the ones you'd use on stocks. Volatility is more, it's greater on the modified Bollinger Bands. So you can see here when the candle closes at or above the upper Bollinger Band with our modified standard deviation, this color codes a red bar, and that indicates it's time to start taking profits because invariably, no matter how strong they are, they're running out of steam. And here it spiked again and sold off. It usually reverts to the mean and often will go to the other Bollinger Band, but not always in a bull market. So that's where I recommend taking profits. And then also on the bullish side, buying in these order blocks. Again, we are able to visualize where people have placed their limit buy orders, their bulk of the buy orders. Now, there are professional versions of this. You can buy and see heat maps, but they're very intensive on memory and they change a lot. These are simple and free, and they work. Look at this. Price comes down into the mid block, and a couple times here. This is again where I was buying Solana back then, but shot up out of there. We got a rocket. A rocket is this pattern. It's a pattern I've recognized over the last 20 years, and then we coded it, and it looks. Imagine a bottle rocket sitting on a launch pad or bottle. So we call it rocket on the launch pad. And what I'm going to do here, actually, with this example, is we're going to jump back and forth. Where is it to our trade success checklist? Okay. Okay, so this is really important. So let's go back and forth on this. I'm going to pull this out and we'll flip back and forth on these because I want you guys to really understand how to use these. And some of you are here to learn the nuances of using this. Okay, so essentially, bear with me here. We want to go from here to there. So in this case, on the bullish sense, we would be watching for really our ERI, hence the name, the early reversal indicator. And a bunch of questions here. I'll just scroll down. Okay, so we'll do one live. We'll do Phantom Coin, I think, is kind of ripe for a pullback. We could do Helium, Sui, Sui checklist, Mary. Okay, we'll do that. All right, so basically though, let me do this because this has it all on there and it has it all in one, and I know it's valid. Okay, so we're looking for the ERI, the early reversal indicator. Now, if you've been trading any length of time, you might be saying that's a cute little green arrow. That's the visualization version of it. The actual indicator is an oscillator that we nearly deprecated. Many of you know the story until I noticed a particular pattern. And I went to Joe, my partner and programmer, who's a quant engineer and a professional hedge fund, former hedge fund trader, and now creates complicated auto trading systems on the S&P, aka highly qualified, uniquely qualified to make these. So he layered in a Keltner channel, but basically when it moves from below a certain level to above another level in 3 time periods, highly correlative to having an extended move and completing the oscillation, especially when it has confluence with our second indicator. We'll get to that. But what I believe it's doing is it's catching programmatic institutional buying. And I didn't know that. It was an accidental discovery. But now, after using it and watching it for 2 years, I think that's what it does. So it's following the footsteps of elephants, as my old friend John Nigerian used to say in the options market. Dr. J on Fast Money. You guys might know the guy with the ponytail. All right. So basically, ERI. So when we see that, we do a checkbox. See that green arrow? That's the ERI. So now we have a score of 1. That's not enough. Usually I'll wait for 2, 3, 4, but 2 or 3 is enough. So in this case, we're going to go down below on our trend strength indicator. So you can see that here. And I love it when it's down below. It's red, 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 and then it turns green. Okay, but I really want to see it green above 20. That's the clincher. So when I see that green and above the 20 line, that's that green line here, and out of the green zone, this indicates a new bullish cycle where the sellers are. This is wrong. So I keep saying we have the final version, and they keep getting it wrong. Okay. So when there were the buyers are in control, so we have to change that. All right. It's good that we're going through this. Um, Wait a minute. So it indicates a bullish reversal. So they got it wrong on both of these. Now, how hard, you know, for F's sake, I won't fill in the blank, but we've gone back and forth. All right, I'll get it fixed. Where the buyers are in control, not sellers. Sorry, you guys. It's working with contractors that have no idea what they're doing. Um, anyway, but essentially, don't worry about the languaging. So we have a score now of 2 out of 21 or so. That's where I'm getting into the trade. Okay, so basically we've got this is where to go on this one here. So basically that's good enough to get in the trade for me. Now I'll start adding to the trade when we see others start lining up, like the signal indicator or the trend indicator or the RSI. Now these are all different, and that's good. They're operating on different momentum and other indicators that is above my pay grade. Joe created those. So either way, is the signal line green? So if that goes yes, so is the signal line green, just printed a green circle indicating bullish sentiment change. Steeper upward slope indicates stronger momentum to the upside. So that's the nuance, steeper slope. So what you do that is open that up, by the way, and you can double click on these. This isn't going to be the best example, but this will show you the steeper the slope, the more probability. That's one of the nuances. Right now, ETH is kind of in the chop, so we're not looking at that. We'll look at that in the live example. All right, so now we have, however, potentially a 3. Where did it go? And sorry, guys, I'm working without a net here. I've got this here. Okay, so now we have 3 out of 21. I'm adding to that trade, especially if we have an RSI Pro. And again, part of our Pro Pack, bullish divergence is this green circle. And that indicates that there is either hidden or obvious divergence. So if the RSI is going up, but price isn't, that would be hidden divergence. Either way, you don't need to know that. If you see the green circle, that's another check mark. So we come over here and we've got that. So now we have a trade score of 4 out of 21. I'm adding to the position now. Confluence is so important on your trades, and we've made it as easy as possible here. Next one, this is one of our older indicators, but it also shows longer term momentum. When we see the bell, it's a trend indicator showing there's a new bullish trend. So a bell is a buy signal. The key shows, hey, a new trend may be coming. It's an early warning system. But once we see the bell, that's another signal to buy and to hold. It's typically up to 7 days of upside. And then it also shows these dollar signs where you want to start taking some profits. I usually wait for the bag o' money here. And then take a majority of profits, because then it sort of resets. You wait for a new key bell. Okay, so now you've got a really good trade setup based on just those alone. And if we go back over to the chart, then we start looking at our standard kind of charting patterns, bullish engulfing candle. And if you're not familiar with what that is, we give you cheat sheets, by the way, in the M3 Active Trader. I'll give you some cool cheat sheets here where you get high probability candle patterns like the bullish engulfing candle. If you're not in M3, guys, you got to be in that. This right now is the time. You know, I've been nailing calls. We called Suey at $2. Now it's like $5. You got a portfolio tracker. You get high probability trading patterns. Go check that out. Moonstream.io/M3. You know, join for a month at least. You'll be glad you did. Trust me. So let's see. So basically what we have here, we're looking for bullish engulfing candle. See that? Bullish engulfing candle. So another signal to get into that trade. So basically now we've got six, a trade success score of six. You got to be in that trade, by the way. And once you're in those trade, I'll show you where the take profit signals to kind of start weighing in. And if you start seeing bearish signs, they can lower the score. So we're getting closer to that. But here we go. Is the price above the 21 and 50 period EMA? Guys, this is like kindergarten stuff. Yeah, orange line, green line, you can create these on your own on your trading view, but is it above both the 21 and 50-day EMA? So if that's the case, boom, now we have a score of 7 out of 21 and only getting better. Okay, so is the candle body above trend line support? So that would be down here. Do we have trend line support? If we drew one from back in here, it is also above trend line support. So all of these are adding up to a much better looking trade. Now, they're not all going to be this good. I'm showing you an ideal cherry-picked version. We'll do a live version in a minute. But let's also look at these. So are there green buy blocks? Now, in this chart, we hadn't have that yet. The buy blocks are money flow. I showed you that in a prior chart. Shows that there's bigger money coming in. And what happens is they will protect those buy zones. The midpoint of those light green boxes generally will hold. And so when we see price come back down to them, good place to re-enter. So in that case, you'd have another check mark. So you're starting to see this check off as an ideal trade, which again, it is. This was Caspa. Here was an ideal trade bouncing off that 50-day EMA. So, but we're looking for the ideal scenarios. Here, that rocket I told you about, the rocket on the launch pad. So this is this pattern where it's sitting on either the 21 or 50-day EMA. Sometimes you can draw a horizontal trend line. The key factors are there's a wick down below. Okay, there's a wick down below the EMA. Is sitting on the launch pad, and just imagine you come out and you light the bottle rocket. The larger the candle, the more rocket fuel there is, the higher in the sky it will go. Now, these tend to burn out quickly. It's a quick profit pop, and you want to be selling into resistance areas like this line or the upper Bollinger Band. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. You can set alerts on your charts. So when there's another rocket, you start getting alerted to those. So you guys are starting to get the picture here. So now we have a score of 10. Now, normally you won't have that many, but if you do, you should be, I would be, not financial advice, but hey, these are the success clues that these signals can give you. And there's more. This is another one. Prices recently pushed down below on the Bollinger Band, similar and opposite to when we had price above the upper Bollinger Band, which is a sell signal. If you see this vertical green line on our Bollinger Band, it's oversold and generally signifies a bottom is in and a place to buy. So these are also early entry points that you can look for. We've got other formations like the 3 inside up. I won't get into. I'll talk about our radar, which I think I had turned off here. We want to be looking for all green radars. Where's my radar? And I'll look at the scanner here as well. This is not to overwhelm you guys. Keep in mind, confluence makes you money. And the more it's the same as certainty. The more certainty you have, which is really what we want, isn't it? More certainty. Do you want more certainty or less certainty in your trades? Okay, so let me see. Where is my radar? Right down here. And then I want to pull up the, not that one. I want the crypto screener. So disregard this one. Sneak peek. We are working on an alert product and the alert screener. So anyway, our crypto screener is showing that only Bitcoin is all green. This is based on an RSI and a signal line. So this, you can update this with your top favorite coins, right? So if you want to use your screener and at a glance and go in here and change these. Right now I've got, we've got Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, XRP. Let's change out XRP. I'm not a big XRP fan. And let's just say, I don't know, one that I think it looks good here. I'm just going to say Ondo for the hell of it. Nothing against you guys if you like XRP. I'm just showing as an example. All right, Sol, AVAX, you can change these, right? So near ADA, not a big ADA fan, but Ondo looking green. Look at that. And you can click on it And I guess you can't click on it to make it go into that region. But anyway, point being, we've got Bitcoin all green in buy zone, Ondo all green. The rest of these red on the signal would not be buying ETH or Litecoin or Sol or AVAX. I sold my AVAX last night, put it in Bitcoin, near ADA. So that's a cool product that you can toggle on and off. What specifically I was going to show you is the radar. The radar is specific to this coin and shows multi time frames. Right now, it looks like a Christmas tree. It's mixed. I like if it's all green, like Bitcoin is all green on the radar. At least it was the other night. All right, sort of flipped over, but all green is go. If it's all red, we want to be selling. It was all red. The reason we developed the radar was back in the market cycle top of 2021, when we had recommended Rune was up 169%. We were pounding the table. You got to get in to our service, and then the market dumped. So we needed the radar to show you guys, hey, if it's all red, get out. I have it set to daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Bitcoin is now all green though. That's why I moved money into Bitcoin last night. It is the apex, the apex. It's the A trade right now. Okay. Pretty soon we'll see money flow out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. Right now, the altcoins are bleeding. Money's going into Bitcoin. That's how it works. And so if you want to go in here in the settings, you can change the time frames. If you want to use this as a day trader and do this as like 15-minute, hourly, 4-hour, even 3-minute. When I used to day trade more, I was like 3-minute, 15-minute, hourly, 4-hour, something like that. You can change those on that radar. Radar is very powerful at a glance. So you're starting to see the value of the product here. So many of you already have this. So these are free classes. So I'm also here. I'm here to teach you how to use them. I'm also here to encourage you to get them over at cryptomastery.org/pro. So I think that was a good case study. Did we miss anything? That pretty much encompasses it. I haven't shown the ATR, although I did on the shorter time frames. The average true range is excellent for either a dynamic stop loss. Some of you might not know this, or what was is a inflection point. Let me turn off the ERI here and clean up this. I'll turn off the Bollinger Band for a minute. And that's the thing. You should probably not have all of these on at the same time. It's a bit overwhelming. I'll toggle them on and off all the time for things. So the ATR, though, on a 4-hour is great, especially on Bitcoin. So I have alerts set. So you can see when the ATR switches, if it's in a sideways market, it kind of goes wishy-washy. But here it went entry point, and it's kind of a longer term trend. And let's see, why didn't that work here? It went up 12%. But when you do nail it and our other signals fire, you can get some really nice moves. It's more of a confirmation signal, right? So this went up 48% on Bitcoin before it went to exit mode. 36% if we waited till it went exit. So that's kind of your stop loss, a dynamic stop loss that you can use. So if you wanted to set an alert, right now we're in an entry, we're in a bullish move. If we wanted to set an alert on that, I would go right click and go to add alert let's see, add alert. This is, it's doing it on the price. I want to click on the indicator, right? You can also do it over in this area. ATR, this little gear here, or in the under settings or more actually. Add alert on the ATR entry. Okay, so the alert now is set to entry point. I want to set it to the when it turns to exit. Okay, and then I'm going to say sell ATR trailing stop BTC 4-hour. So that will be the alert that happens, and I can also change it to once per bar close. The problem with that is I think it's going to trigger each bar close that it's still in that scenario. Some of the other indicators, you can do it that way. So every time it triggers, but it won't go every bar. That's a trading view thing. But here, this is going to tell me when it flips over to exit. Doesn't mean I'll sell, but as a dollar cost averaging tool, if you're wanting to buy Bitcoin every time it goes to entry, hey, great idea. And you can also visually see it. See how the candle, it turned it to blue. So here are some other clues on the ATR. And those of you in M3 haven't seen this. What you want to watch for is when it turns yellow, it means it's, hey, this might be turning. Okay. And then blue is that inflection point where it did turn. Over here, you can kind of see it went from entry to exit, but blue is that inflection point. So that's how you want to use the ATR. Again, more tools in your disposal because really you want to be like Sherlock Holmes. If it's your money at stake, you want to be Sherlock Holmes and you want to have as many clues as possible. Is that right? So right about now, if you haven't already, you've gone over to cryptomastery.org/pro because if you don't have them, you're up against us and we do have them. Guys, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't push this on you. And those of you who have them, you know. And if you guys are here, maybe just comment, say how much you love the M3, the Crypto Mastery tools. Anyway, I'll back off a bit. I don't want to be too salesy, but you know, invest in your success. One bad trade, you guys. All right, let's take a look at some. We'll do FTM and H&T quickly. Phantom Coin. David's saying the buy and sell blocks have made a lot of money this week. Yeah, I know. I wish we'd had those last cycle, David, for sure. But we have them now. That's the good news. Phantom Coin. So I think Sam, did you want? Phantom Coin just feels weak here. I think you know, it's just it's wishy-washy. That's got bearish divergence. It's red on the signal line, and whereas it probably will pull back around $1.25. You know, it's not terrible what it's doing. It broke out of this downward sort of wedge pattern, symmetrical wedge, if you want, and so at least it's retesting that. So these things will break one way or the other. So, so basically, it's retesting that to go higher. But on a weekly chart, you know, it's resting, but something about it I don't love. It's overbought, getting bearish divergence. So when in doubt, zoom out, Sam. And so you have bearish divergence on the weekly. Now keep in mind the weekly candle has not closed. So if this Sunday, which is 5 days away-ish, right, you still have bearish divergence, I'd probably be getting out because the last time we saw that, then we had like a multi-week drawdown on Phantom. And this time over here, same thing. The bearish divergence is great for kind of advance warning on these, especially on the weekly. Because look back here when we had bullish divergence back here in September of 2023, we know that October 2023, we had a nice little AI bull run. Sure enough, that was an early warning system. Then we had TSI and our other signals go green, boom. And then recently we had our TSI go green, boom. But do we want to be buying and holding up here? I mean, certainly I'd be selling at around $1.90 up in the sell zone. But for me, frankly, because Phantom is on Gemini and I don't have a lot on there, but what looks better to me, although, okay, ALI was up earlier today, but it rejected at the 21-day EMA. Sorry, guys, too many acronyms. So Phantom Coin not looking terribly great. I don't know. You know, I wouldn't necessarily dump it. It's got a number of sell zones up above. It is trying to, however, it's not really a cup and handle, but you know, the psychology is similar. It's kind of a janky W, deep handle, but it's trying to break above this range. Problem is, here's the problem, Sam. And these order blocks are so good because all these people that bought back here, the psychology of it is this. All of the people that bought back here because they thought Phantom Coin was going to rally again, they're looking to get out at even. You know, just imagine George at home telling his wife Martha and saying, "Honey, I just if it just goes back to break even, then I'll sell it. I promise you. I'm sorry I lost all that money and all this time. He's just dying to get back to break even here. And these people who bought into this pump here, and these people that bought at the old high here, all they want to do is get even and get out." Okay, so there's overhead supply, which is going to probably get taken out. But, you know, I think Phantom Coin could still go to $11 on the Fibonacci, but it's going to have some trouble along the way. It's not my first choice. Where we want it, look at all that bearish divergence on this. So look, follow the clues, trust the indicators. HNT, helium, and then we'll do SUI, then we'll wrap up. I've got a call at 2 o'clock, so I got to get through this. But basically, nice cup and handle on helium, right? So cup handle breaking out, retesting this. So just barely, just on that, I have a note to self buy pullbacks, which I've been doing. Not really seeing a lot happening. The volume isn't quite there. I think helium, again, similarly has sell pressure up here at $10. All the people that bought right here thinking it was a breakout, not seeing that it was a parallel channel top, by the way. And that's fair because we didn't have that data point, but now we do. So that's now we do. So what I like about helium here is it has 300 3x potential, okay, to the top of the trend channel. Maybe higher as if it takes longer to get there. So, but let's just call it 3x. And in the immediate term, I have a note to self buy pullbacks. What do we see in our signals? Let me turn on the ERI. It's a bit noisy on the daily. We have kind of a bearish ERI, but do we have? Here's how you use the trade success checklist on the bearish side, by the way. The same way. And let me just refresh that. Let me go back over where I need to go here. I'll refresh it. So basically, I'm going to refresh this and go down to the bearish trades. Short bearish trades. Is there overhead resistance? All right. Is the radar all red? And a number of these other ones, three inside down. And as there a sell order block, we've got bearish divergence on the RSI. So specifically, let me hop over to helium. We have an ERI, which is bearish, but we don't have the TSI red yet. So it's just this one signal. And where do we have that here? And the bearish trades, bearish ERI. I guess I need to add that, don't I? This is becoming a never-ending battle with this thing. But bearish ERI, it's basically the opposite of the bullish signals. And I didn't want to make this too long. So anyway, point being, it's not too bad. The point, when in doubt, zoom out, you guys. This is when it's kind of choppy and it's not clear. When in doubt, zoom out. Because when you do that over to the weekly here, we have a big buy block supporting helium just below at 750. We have a bit of a bearish candle here, but it's just retesting this new high. If it does pull back, I would be buying at $7.25. Why? 21-week EMA, midpoint of this vector candle, big buy block here, and overall these signals are bullish. TSI signal and the RSI are bullish. Okay, so that's the deal with helium. I like helium. I would be buying any dips, as my note says to self. Note to self, like a sticky note. All right, let's do SUI. And then I gotta go, you guys. So let's see. SUI, and it is in the list here, I'm sure. There is SUI. Now, SUI, I was taking some profit last night because it is just kind of hitting resistance. This is a Fibonacci, by the way, from this high there to this low here, just extended out. And, it hit that exactly, that 2.618. Does it go to the 3.618 and goes to $6 maybe? It's in price discovery, but it seems to struggle. I'll be struggling a little bit here. Let me see what our signals show. Volume dried up, overbought on the TSI, but really low volume here. So it's kind of like that Chinese weather balloon, overbought on the daily also. I just don't like to buy them. I mean, so SUI could be the Sol of this cycle. It's a lot of S's there. But look at this. Look how far it's come up, you guys. And I would draw this new upper trend channel because when you get a trend line violation of that, I think it's over for SUI. On the, I don't think we're there yet, but the trend line violation of say this line, the 50-day EMA, although there's another buy block around $3. SUI probably goes sideways for a bit and then pumps up in this region. You can see where I have my sell targets at $5.50, $6, and then $6.50. I'm out because that would be kind of the top of that Fibonacci study. I'll draw it as it should to the lower real body on that. So yeah, the top 650, that's kind of my exit on Sui. But anyway, that's the deal with that. Our other indicators kind of hard to read. There's not much else to say because it's topping out. I think I would certainly have your take profit levels set. 550, $6, 650. That's where I have it. Okay. So it's not really worth doing the checklist because there's not a whole lot there. And typically those are better at inflection points. Okay. But another reason to set it at 650 would be that's that upper Bollinger Band. Look, guys, these things do not go above the modified upper Bollinger Band for long. They cannot. They don't. And this is a reversion to a mean. See right here, upper Bollinger Band retraced to the lower Bollinger Band. Let me show you that. My friend Steve Nissan, the grandfather of candlesticks, didn't write the book. He wrote the first 5 books. Taught me this on a webinar, and I'll never forget it. He said, when price breaks or touches one of the Bollinger Band extremes, typically it will revert not only to the mean, but to the opposite Bollinger Band. If we're in a strong uptrend, I'll look for a reversion to the mean, which is almost the same as that 21-day EMA. So I usually turn off the midpoint of it on mine. And here's how you do that, by the way, because if you don't, I'll just show you this, guys. On the Bollinger Bands, if I turn on the median line, it's just not colored. But if I were to do this, it's sort of exactly overlaps with the 21-day EMA. So it's acting, why is that not even showing? Inputs, it's length, source, close. I just didn't want to get into here, actually. Just turn it off. Turn that off and use the 21-day EMA. All right, just trust me on that. Okay, cool. Point being, going back here. So basically, we pushed up. We had price go above and close at or above the upper Bollinger Band on SUI. What did it do? It sold off. Then we had a bearish ERI, sold off all the way to the lower Bollinger Band, at which point it recovered. If you're a day trader and you want to do short covering, you want to cover your shorts when it gets below that lower Bollinger Band. Sometimes it'll go 2 days in a row, but generally it's that first one. And then what did it do? It reverted to the mean. And then another shorting opportunity at the 21-day EMA. Come down here, bullish engulfing candle, bullish ERI. So you can see the clues are there, you guys. And this Bollinger Band on the upside similarly is where you take profits. You take profits when it touches the upper Bollinger Band, and it'll either go sideways or retrace or into sell blocks. All right, so Sam's saying the RSI Pro deadly accurate on calling reversals. Yeah, it's almost the EERI, the early reversal indicator. Let's see. Okay, Perry's saying Saul just had a rocket. All right, let's take a look at that. This class, this is good stuff, you guys. Keep it coming. I do have to wrap up here shortly, but this is good stuff. I appreciate the comments because that makes it fun for me and educational for everybody else. Okay, so on here, is this a rocket? Well, maybe. Maybe. Now, what happened there, wait till the close of the candle. And so if we're on a daily time frame, wait till the end of the day, because what happened is, and I didn't see it, but Saul pushed up, flashed a rocket signal because it's sitting at the 50-day EMA, but it sold off, okay, back below the 21-day EMA. We talk about ice and drowning and all of that in the M3 class. But to qualify as a rocket, it has to close near the top within 10%, between 5 and 10%. I don't want to see a wick because what that says is the sellers have pulled it back down. It's still a bullish engulfing candle, which I like, but it's not a rocket unless we see it really closing near the top of that candle, and I want to see a deep enough wick and enough rocket fuel. So good call on that. Here's the thing though, sometimes on different exchanges it's slightly different. But I would wait either way, wait till the end of the day and then see. But what you can do on these, let's go in and set an alert on this and add an alert on the rocket for Solana. And we want to know, do we get a rocket? Rocket pattern detected on Sol, on close. Boom. I want to do once per bar close because I want to know, I definitely want to know if we have a rocket on Sol. Okay, and now did you say we Sol USDT and Sol USD? Okay, sometimes those are different. Generally, I would wait till the end of the day before you start splitting hairs on that, Perry. Um, the Perry, the middle of the Bollinger Band is an EMA. Not always. It's a little different, but maybe we coded it that way. If I were to pull up a standard Bollinger Band, I think it uses a 20 EMA versus the 21. Here, see, there we go. There's the rocket. Now, why did my alert not fire? See that, you guys? This is important nuance. Great class here. See how it's closer to the high, but it just went away. The rocket went away. If it's within 5%, there's the rocket signal, but it keeps going away. It's not sure yet. What I might do here, go over to the 4-hour chart, just kind of see. Here's where we might use an ATR on that and just kind of see what's going on. Let me open this up here, full screen. All right, so nice little bullish breakout on the 4-hour, getting back above the 50 period EMA. But look at all the sell pressure here on the 4-hour. Don't really like that. So what we'd want to do here is draw our parallel trend channels. And this is obviously, this is a strategy we teach in M3 Active Trader. So it's at the upper edge of the parallel trend channel. I think probably it doesn't make it. I think probably it reverts. I think probably what happens, Sol comes back down to 207, 205 area, hits this buy block, does this kind of thing. Not exactly because I ran out of space. Okay. But there you go. Good comment. But hitting this upper area, I think probably it will reject and come back down. So we probably don't get the rocket end of day. If we do, let me know. On the 1-hour, it's trying to push through this sell block and go to the next one. Now, these don't always correlate, I know, but that's just kind of because, I don't know, because these sell orders aren't big enough to flag on this one. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's about all I have time for. Any burning questions? If you're still here and you're not already part of our M3 Active Trader class, guys, you got to be in this. Hey, Pirate J is here. Any news on Pirate Chain? I need inquiring minds want to know. Pirate Chain's been pushing up, you guys. And let's just see. Well, it's kind of up and down a bit. I don't know. I don't know. It keeps trying. Keeps trying, not quite there yet. All right, any alpha if you want to share, that'd be great. All right, you guys. Back to business here. Either way, if you are here, definitely sign up for our new Trader Success Checklist, which is almost the final version. Myrene, maybe we can fix that small typo on that, and I'll get with you after this because I don't want to keep sending it back to the designers because they apparently I don't know what they're talking about. So anyway, you can get that Trader Success Checklist here. Maybe give us a day to update that. This is for these classes. You can sign up for our Monday newsletter if you don't already. We'd send out a weekly Monday newsletter every week with news. But for really nailing this bull market, guys, you need to be an active trader and you need to have the crypto mastery signals. These two. And you will thank me later, I promise. And even if nothing else, it gets you out of a trade and out at the market top. In M3, I will let you know when the market top is. That's part of my job. But even on these coins, look how good these are. They just nail it. They're the best out there. If you use something else, if you like your market cipher or whatever else you use, great. These are working Confluence. I like them better. But if you're using the standard free indicators, you're up against people with superior tools like me and my M3 members and other people out there, and you're going to lose every time. I was losing in crypto when I first started trading in 2018 because I was using my standard RSI, my stochastics, my MACD, and I was getting my lunch. My lunch was getting eaten by other people who had better tools. So we developed these to be simple yet powerful. So you need to have them. Bottom line. Okay, that's it for this week, you guys. And I wish you guys the best of luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow in M3 class. Again, that is this on steroids for those of you that don't know. And with the the chat there. We've got a lot going on in the chat. Some really smart traders. The value, guys, you could sign up for M3 Trader and get value even without me showing up. There's just so much alpha in here from some of these other traders dropping gems and movers and news because I'm only one set of eyes. This is daily chat. It's not overwhelming. It's maybe like 10 or 15 chats a day. I give coin picks. I give exact signals here. So make sure you check out M3 Active Trader. Make sure you get into that because I'm probably only going to do it for another year. And then we're going to switch our model into a bear market model. And by the way, if you didn't sign up for the DeFi, the next gen DeFi product, guys, it's so good. That's with Vadim, and if you haven't, people are getting rave reviews on that. So basically, not look, I'm not here to sell you stuff. I'm here to give you the tools to win. Trust me. And the DeFi product is how you'll move your profits over to a yield bearing DeFi product with liquidity pools. That's where the pros play. 20% APR in a bear market, yeah, upwards of 100% APY monthly in a bull. If you don't know about that, DM us, ask us about it. I think there's a couple more spots. We just had someone sign up. That is the yin to the yang of your trading. That's the play, you guys. Take your trading profits. We'll sell out, hopefully, ideally near the top, and move it into coins that generate yield, no matter what the prices are doing in the bear. All right, cool guys. That's all I have time for. I will see you guys in M3 tomorrow, and of course our Retire Rich class on Thursday. For those of you long-term holders and hodlers, and that's a great class as well. You can find out more about that if you're more of a long-term holder and not a trader. Check out Retire Rich Inner Circle. Check that out, guys. That is it's a little different style. You can watch a highlight reel. You can see some of our winning trades. I still need to update that because there's a lot more there than I have had chance to add, but we've had some huge winners in that as well. So, okay, you guys, cheers. That's all I'm gonna do today, but thanks everybody. Thanks for your questions, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers, everyone. Bye.